Well, hello everyone. This is our third webinar in the Slimmer You for Summer series. And I just want to welcome all of you who are on the call tonight, as well as everyone who's watching the replay line. And a big hello to our UK team, who I know will be watching it and who are having some great success. We had a few breakthroughs. I mean, people are consistently losing. I just want to mention Kathy Shaw. She lost another 3 inches. So this is hats off to Kathy. Good work. She sent me her weight in stones. I'm not quite sure how to convert it. So, but she is making definitely progress. 3 inches more. Adeline, another 2 pounds. That's great. And Linda, can you just share with us some of your success this week? And you've had a major breakthrough, and I'm really excited about that. And I want you to share because some others may have fallen into the same thought process that might be holding them back. So Linda, can you please share?
Absolutely, because I think this is some misconception that I've had for the last several decades, thinking that eating less is actually going to help me lose weight. So my big breakthrough was that I'm now on a fitness program as well as the Slimmer for You for Summer, and part of my program is ensuring that I do eat 5 times a day. So I eat the breakfast, a snack, lunch, snack, dinner, and then nothing after dinner. Drinking plenty of water, and I've actually lost more in the last sort of week than I have working. Like, by far, it's probably 2 or 3 times the weight I've lost in any given week from March till now. So the key is you actually have to eat. You can't starve yourself, because that's not doing you any good. You're not going to lose weight because your body seems to store it, which, like I say, I didn't know that for decades.
That's fantastic. Well, I'm glad that it was a realization and that it's 5 times a day. I know it's 5 small meals a day. And what it does, it helps keep your sugar levels balanced throughout the day, so you're not having highs and lows. And your body realizes that there's always going to be food coming, so it doesn't go into starvation mode. So I'm glad that you've had that breakthrough and then you're making progress. That's fantastic. Yeah, so let's get into the program. Let's talk about fats and proteins. One of the things I want to point out are all the hidden sugars. I saw this on Canada AM one morning, and they were talking about, about all the hidden sugars. And you may want to write this down. 4 grams of sugar equals 1 teaspoon. So when you're looking at a label, look at the label and look at the grams of sugar. And just realize 4 grams is 1 teaspoon. So the average North American consumes 16 teaspoons per day of hidden sugars. Like, that's almost hard to comprehend. 16 teaspoons per day of hidden sugars. A lot of times, remember there was a big craze about low fat everything. We had low fat, whatever. There's always, everybody's avoiding fat, right? Because they thought fat made you fat. Well, in the low fat variety, there's actually more sugar than the fat variety. So if you look at a blueberry muffin, a low fat has 8 teaspoons of sugar, and a regular blueberry muffin has 7 teaspoons of sugar. So they took out the fat, but in order for it to still taste appetizing, they've added more sugar. And look how much sugar is in one muffin. So when you go to, let's say, Tim Hortons, and you go for that healthy muffin, think of the amount of sugar you're consuming. It's just like eating a piece of birthday cake. It really is. It's a lot of sugar. Or canned pork and beans. 1 cup has 4 teaspoons of sugar. Or what about these lean cuisine chicken teriyaki? I remember when I used to work at corporate world, one of the girls used to always eat these lean cuisines. But look at the amount of sugar in just one little lean cuisine. Or when you do the instant oatmeal, the packages, you rip it open, you dump it into your bowl and you add water. It has at least 3 teaspoons of sugar in one serving. Or what about that soya milk that we think is super healthy? Or almond milk? It has a lot of sugar. So always buy the no sugar variety. So that's one of my tips for the day, is just be aware of, what about salad dressings? Salad dressings, read the label, because salad dressings often contain a lot of hidden sugar. Or peanut butter will contain sugar. Especially Skippy peanut butter has a lot of sugar, actually. They use icing sugar in it. It's really refined. Okay, so we're just going to jump right into the good fats. Now, a lot of people, I guess it was in the 90s, 80s and 90s, where they convinced us that eating fats were bad, but actually eating good fats is super beneficial. By consuming good fats, you actually decrease your total cholesterol and your LDL cholesterol, but that's with the good fats, not the bad fats. So that's one of the things. So if you're struggling with your cholesterol, in Dr. Ray Strand's book, Healthy for Life, he talks about often your cholesterol, if it is too high, especially your LDL, that is due to eating too many high glycemic carbohydrates and not necessarily consuming cholesterol from your diet. Fat consumption does not stimulate the release of insulin or glucagon. Now remember, insulin is your fat storage hormone. Glucagon is your fat releasing hormone. So when you eat fat, it doesn't affect either one of those hormones. And healthy cells take in nutrients better and detoxify better and produce more energy when you're consuming good fats. Think of a cell, and around the cell is a membrane, or you could think of it as a skin. If you're not consuming good fats, it'll use whatever fat you are consuming. If it isn't the healthy fats, let's say it's saturated fat from maybe a big juicy steak, it's going to create a membrane that's very rigid and that will not be able to take in nutrients as well and not be able to detoxify as well, and could actually crack and ooze the contents of the cell into your system. I remember one time I had, or a couple times, live blood analysis, and they could actually show you if your cells do not have a healthy membrane and they're actually cracked and oozing their content out. So it's really, really important to have enough omega-3s in order to have healthy cells. Another benefit of fat is that it's going to slow down the gastric emptying. So when you eat food with fat, it's going to take longer to digest. That means it's going to release the sugar from the food slower. And because it's also taking a longer time, you're going to feel more satisfied. So you'll go several hours without feeling hungry again. Fat is needed to build our cell membranes, our brain cells, nerves, and hormones. So if we don't have enough good fat, we won't be able to have mental clarity. So fat's not the problem. The problem is the kind of fats we consume. So not all fats are created the same. Not all unsaturated fat is healthy for you, and not all saturated fat is healthy for you. We want to have a balance of omega-3s to 6s in a 2-to-1 ratio. So for every omega-3 we consume, our bodies are designed to have 2 omega-6s. The trouble is the North American diet, it's really out of whack. Most of us consume a 20-to-1 or a 40-to-1. That means we take in 20 milligrams of omega-6s, only 1 of omega-3s, or 41-to-4. Now, the problem with omega-6s, they're very inflammatory, so they create inflammation in the body, while omega-3s are anti-inflammatory. So if you think of all the diseases that are connected to inflammation, allergies, asthma, arthritis, heart disease, those are related to inflammations. So we want to reduce the amount of inflammation in the body. So and how do we do that? We decrease the omega-6s and increase the omega-3s that we're consuming. So where do we find omega-6s? It's found in red meat, chicken, dairy products, processed carbohydrates, corn oil, peanut oil, safflower oil. Anything that's also deep fried or fried is very abundant in omega-6s. Omega-3s, on the other hand, are abundant in cold water fish, flaxseed oil, hemp seeds, soybean oil, walnuts, range-fed, chicken eggs, almonds, those type of things. So I think most of us in North America do not consume a lot of cold water fish. We're definitely a society of more beef and pork and chicken. Again, that's where the omega-6, that animal protein has a lot of omega-6s. So what's the benefit of taking omega-3s? It will help improve depression. So if you know people who are depressed, they may be lacking omega-3s. It also helps with bipolar tendencies, improves brain function, reduces cholesterol levels, helps with the cell membrane, and protects against Alzheimer's. Wow, like a lot of benefits. Raw almonds are very high in omega-3 fats. Flaxseed, chia seed, hemp seeds are high in omega-3 fats. But my tip is to grind them and use them immediately, because flaxseed, I mean, your body won't be able to digest them. So you have to grind them. So just buy an inexpensive coffee grinder, grind what you're going to use. Don't buy the pre-ground, because it will, the fat will become rancid very quickly. So purchase the, basically the whole seeds and then grind them as you need them. Consume more cold water fish like salmon, mackerel, tuna, sardines, and trout. And I grew up, my parents ate a lot of sardines. Anybody out there that you or your parents ate a lot of sardines? No? My parents used to have that yeah. Linda says yes. For some reason, and I liked it, but I just never seemed to bring myself to opening up a can of sardines. I'd rather have some nice cedar plank salmon. By taking USANA's Biomega, this is really the easiest way to guarantee that you will consistently have the right amount of omega-3 fats in your body. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. Okay, let's just talk about plant saturated fats, because not all saturated fats are bad. Saturated fats, the long chain saturated fats, are not healthy for you. That's found in animal fat, that's animal fats. The medium chain triglycerides are very good for you. That's coconut oil is a plant-based saturated fat. So it's made up of medium chain triglycerides. They're more easily digested, absorbed, and metabolized than animal fats or vegetable oils with the long chain triglycerides. And that means there's less opportunity to be deposited in fat tissue. Also, it helps you absorb your fat-soluble elements like vitamin E and coenzyme Q10. So your nutrients that are fat soluble require fat to be absorbed. So in our smart foods, we have coconut fat. So we have the Nutrimil line, and then we have the My Smart Shakes. My Smart Shakes don't shake that well because of the coconut fat in here, they kind of glob. So I recommend I use this in the blender, and it makes it very, very creamy. Oops. Let me just check. There's a chat. Where does olive oil fit in? Olive oil, I believe, would be in the omega-3s. I think I mentioned that a little later here, but olive oil is great. Olive oil is fantastic to use. So that would be in the more in the omega-3 line. Anyway, so the My Smart Shakes, they have the coconut fat. So when Dr. Wentz designed these are sugar-free, low in carbohydrates, higher in fat, and higher in protein. And so they're great. And I love the My Smart Shakes. Particularly Whey agrees with me. I know, Jackie, you like the soy one. And you could add, I like adding pineapple and cucumber as one of my favorite shakes with this. It has a nice light flavor. It's not really a strong vanilla, so it works really well. Okay, protein. We're just going to move right on to protein. Protein stimulates the release of glucagon. And remember, glucagon is our fat-releasing hormone. So we want to consume more protein to stimulate glucagon. And so this is why the keto diet works so well, because it stimulates glucagon. It doesn't stimulate insulin. So the insulin levels go down, the glucagon goes up, but it's so extreme that you go into ketosis. So short term, it's not a problem, but long term, to be in ketosis is not healthy for your body. So this program that I'm recommending is more balanced. We do have carbs, we have fats, we have proteins, and the right ratios, so that we stimulate the release of glucagon and not stimulate insulin, but we have more fruits and vegetables, so it's a better balance long-term for nutrient value. Yeah, protein is broken down and absorbed slower, which allows your blood sugar to rise slower. Protein decreases the gastric emptying, enhances digestion of the meal. Again, it's going to make you feel satisfied longer. Protein is absolutely essential for our existence. Protein has 20 very important amino acids and 10 essential amino acids. Essential meaning that body cannot produce it, we have to consume it. All the proteins that USANA uses in my Smart Shakes or the Nutrimil is a complete balanced protein with all the amino acids, which is very, very important because amino acids are required for muscles, skin, hair, eyes, nails, and immune. Men need at least 56 grams of protein minimum. Women, we need at least 45 grams of protein daily. And back in 2010, when I was actually going Emerald and I was working with Wendy Terry, who's going to be listening to the replay line and her UK team, we were just blasting out meetings. I mean, we were go, go, go. And I really didn't have a lot of time to prepare food and drank a lot of Nutrimil. And I found because of the amount of complete proteins in the Nutrimils, I was actually building more muscle when I was going to the gym. And I was actually becoming stronger. And it made me realize in my normal day-to-day diet, I do not consume enough protein or protein that's complete protein with all the amino acids. So the Nutrimils will help, because of the protein, will help you build more muscle. I know when Sandy Zager, when she won't be on the call tonight, but she'll be happy. She actually mentioned this last week already, that if you're hungry, if you're finding you're really, really, really hungry, have some protein. Have half a chicken breast or a boiled egg. Have some protein, and that's going to help you with your appetite, with the cravings and the hunger. One serving of protein is 12 to 15 grams. In our Nutrimils, we have anywhere from 15 to 17 grams of protein. And you can add more protein. I like it when I'm working out harder, when I'm jogging or I'm working out at the gym. I like adding more protein to my shakes because my body's more revved up, and I find an extra scoop of protein will help me feel satisfied longer. Protein helps you feel satisfied following a meal. Meal size decreases and meal satisfaction increases when good protein and fat are included in the meal or snack. So this includes protein, fat. So I recommend including protein and fat with every meal. So every meal have protein, fat, and carbs. So a snack would be a boiled egg. A boiled egg has protein, it has fat, and probably a little bit of carbohydrates in it. How about an apple? An apple would be carbs, right? But it's healthy carbs because it's low glycemic, an apple is, but because it doesn't have any fat or protein, you're gonna burn up that apple in about 20 minutes. So when you add 6 to 10 almonds, the almonds have the fat and the protein. Combined with the apple, it's gonna help you feel satisfied for 2 hours. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's take a look at the chart. Proteins in grams and calories, and let's see where do we get our biggest amount of grams of protein for the least amount of calories. So I always recommend eating range-fed eggs if you can find them because they're more nutritious. A large egg would have 6 grams of protein. 75 calories. I typically recommend when you make a omelet to use 1 whole egg because the fat in the egg yolk plus 2 egg whites. And that's where you're going to receive 18 grams of protein because you have 3 egg whites basically, and you're going to have some fat because you have 1 egg yolk, and that will minimize the amount of calories and give you more protein, so you're going to feel more satisfied longer. So I'm not sure if any of you do that, but that's how I recommend making your vegetable omelet. And that way you'll get enough grams of protein to consist as a meal. Fish, size of the palm of your hand, 19 grams of protein. Greek yogurt, the no-fat, no-sugar Greek yogurt, 3/4 of a cup has 18 grams. So that constitutes a meal. Look at turkey versus chicken. For the same size, the amount of palm of your hand, a slice, turkey has 24 grams of protein and chicken only has 15, and yet they're about the same calories. So where's your biggest, protein bang for the amount of calories? It's with turkey versus chicken. Probably makes turkey a little harder to digest. So that after that Thanksgiving meal, it's a little harder to digest turkey. And there's something else in turkey that makes us kind of sleepy, but it's a really dense protein. Beans and legumes, 1 cup has 16 grams. So if you think of let's say a vegetarian meal, to have enough protein from beans and legumes, it's about a cup. A red meat, about the size of the palm of your hand. So when you go to High Steak Loft and you have one of those big 10-ounce steaks, that is multiple servings. Actually, a serving of red meat is 2.5 ounces. And I thought, how much is 2.5 ounces? So I actually bought a scale from Pampered Chef, and weighing it, it's not much. It's actually probably even less than the palm of your hand. And that's a serving. So I feel that we're going to talk about quantity a little later, that a lot of us eat just way too much. Soy or whey isolates are about 20 grams of protein. Again, you can add your protein from your shakes this way. So when you're putting together your own meals, remember 15 grams of protein constitutes a meal. So I'm sure there's some apps that you can go on your phone and they can tell you the amount of protein in different foods. So so in your meals, always remember proteins, fats, and carbs. Okay, let's talk about desirable protein and fat combinations. Legumes, dry beans, split peas, chickpeas, black beans, kidney beans, and lentils are all legumes with protein. Raw nuts, almonds, and walnuts are great. Almonds particularly. Except my husband, he would have like a handful. I said, nuts have protein and fat, but they're high in calories, so you don't want to eat too much either. So again, 6 to 10 is a good amount to have with your snack. Almond butter, 1 tablespoon. Avocados, and you can make your own guacamole. Olives, virgin olive oil. So you ask them about olive oil. It's within the desirable fats. Soybeans, soya milk, no fat, no sugar variety. Soya burgers, tofu, mushrooms. Mushrooms are the meat vegetable, if you think of it that way, because mushrooms actually have protein in them. Flaxseed oil. More desirable protein. So these are the ones you want to eat. Seeds, sesame seed, sunflower seed, pumpkin seed, chia seed, flaxseed. Sprouts, lentils, sunflower, garbanzo beans. Sprouts are super, 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 super foods. And when I went to Santa Vive, they recommended a lot of sprouts. They have so many sprouts in the buffet. Like there's sprouts galore because there's such a concentrated superfood. Hummus instead of butter. And the girls who wrote the low-glycemic meals in minutes cookbook, they came to Winnipeg to present, and I happened to go to Costco, and I had margarine in my backseat, like with all the food, and they checked it out, and they said, "Oh, you're busted. You got margarine there. We have busted you, the low-glycemic cops." And they said, use hummus instead of butter or margarine for sandwiches, because hummus is made from chickpeas, which have more protein. Where is the fat, the excess of fat in fowl? It's in the skin. So turkey or chicken, eat the best is the lean chicken breast or turkey breast without the skin. So avoid the skin. Cold water fish, salmon, mackerel, trout, sardines, herrings, tuna. Wild game is exceptional. I eat a lot of deer, moose, and it has omega-3s, not the omega-6s, and it's extremely lean. So that is a desirable protein. Grass-fed cattle as well, and range-fed chicken eggs. Now that's the good. This is the moderate. Now we're shifting into the moderate. So these are okay, but not as ideal. Peanuts, cashews, pistachios, hazelnuts, and macadamia nuts are not as good as almonds and walnuts. Walnut butter is not as good as almond butter. Natural peanut butter is not as good as almond butter. Natural peanut butter, 1 tablespoon with an apple is a good combination for a snack. And now natural peanut butter has no salt and no sugar and tastes more like peanuts. You have to stir it around. What I do is I buy it, I stir all the oil because it's not hydrogenated and it separates. So it is healthier for you. So mix it up, turn it upside down, and I put it in the fridge, and then it basically the oil stays mixed. Peanut oil, mayonnaise, commercial eggs are moderately desirable. Canola oil, palm oil, safflower oil, sunflower oil, sesame oil, corn oil is moderate. Olive oil is better than those. Skim milk is desirable. Again, skim milk, no animal fat. Cottage cheese, fat-free. Yogurt, fat-free, sugar-free. Greek yogurts are higher in protein than regular. So these are all moderately desirable. Lean hamburger, in the cookbook, they have lean hamburger, they fry it, and then they rinse it. They get rid of as much of the saturated fat as possible. Lean cuts of beef, generally the cheaper ones are the leaner ones. They're healthier for you than the fatty ones. Again, you could read those. So this is all moderate. These are the ones you want to stay away from. The margarine, those girls busted me. You know, they said, if you're going to have margarine or butter, which one do you think? Which one do you think? If you had a choice between margarine and butter, which one do you think is healthier?
Butter.
Butter? Why?
Because it's more natural is why I think.
Isn't margarine hydrogenated? And yes. I know it's fake. It's not real stuff. So that's it right there for me.
Yes. Yeah, it's always pick more natural as possible. So one of the things when I talk about tofu kind of doesn't sit quite well with me because it's so processed. And margarine or butter, go with the butter. It is more natural. Margarine is hydrogenated and it's not as good for us from a cardiovascular perspective. So you're right. All right, so these are things you want to stay away from. Vegetable shortening, lard, fried foods, those beautiful little French fries, and deep fried this and deep fried that, and deep fried pickles and deep fried mushrooms and all the deep fried. Stay away from that. Cottonseed oils found in a lot of kids' snacks, so stay away from those. Again, if you're going to use some butter versus margarine, use a little butter, but like as the low-glycemic Meals and Minutes authors said, use hummus. It's way better for you. All right, a quick review of other ones to say. Whole milk, cream, 2% milk has a lot of the saturated fat. Stay away from it. Ice cream. This time of year, people are eating ice cream. And the other day, Gary, we were going to the lake. We worked on cementing and it was hot. And he said, oh, I'm going to stop for an ice cream. He said, do you want one? I wanted one. I said, no, I'm having my water and that's it. And I gave myself a pat on the back. Coming home today, he said, do you want to stop for ice cream? I said, I would love an ice cream, but I don't need an ice cream. And no, let's just keep going. So sometimes we have to, use these type of things as a real treat. And if you do have an ice cream, have a mini baby cone ice cream. And really eat it slow and enjoy it. Cheeses, I love cheeses, and unfortunately cheeses are super high in fat. So again, eat it very moderately, just as a little bit of a garnish. Bacon, fatty beef cuts, fatty beef roasts, these are the least desirable. Hot dogs, pre-made hamburgers, lamb, liver, brain, heart, pepperoni, sausage, pre-processed luncheon meat, pork, spare ribs, pork, again, other seafood like oysters and lobster. Now, I'm not sure if the lobster's not that great for you because of lobster or because you dip it in the butter. But these are the least desirable proteins and fats. So avoid these. Okay, Any questions before we move on to serving sizes? We're just moving right along. I see Adeline said the zero-fat yogurt and cottage cheese is extremely unsatisfying, and then you eat more of it. Yes. Well, we do need some fat. The problem is it's unsaturated. So if you find them really unsatisfying, don't eat the full fat because of the saturated fat. Try it maybe a 2% cottage cheese, like just a little bit of fat in it. Then you might find that more satisfying. Now, do you mix it with fruit? Your yogurt or your cottage cheese?
No, I usually, when I have yogurt, I like adding cinnamon to it. Or if I'm having a real treat, I'll add some honey. I'll melt some honey in the microwave and add that to the yogurt. Cottage cheese is generally, unless I'm going for like the full fat, I just find it so unsatisfying. I've tried the two and it's, so I just skip it.
Okay. I'm not a huge cottage cheese fan either, but I find the way I do like it is actually the way my mom makes it, believe it or not. It's kind of like the low fat or no fat. She, this time of year, she'll take fresh radishes and chop them up really fine or sliver them, and then fresh green onion, and she'll mix it with salt and pepper. And the spiciness adds, actually, it's really good. So that's how my mom makes it, and I really do like it. Otherwise, adding some fruit. I'm more of a yogurt person than a cottage cheese person.
Adding the honey to the yogurt, is that, I guess it all depends how much, but is that a bad thing? Because I don't know.
From a glycemic index, honey is about the same as table sugar.
Okay.
Now, honey is healthier because it has antibacterial and antiviral properties. So if you had to pick the two, honey is better of the two.
Just add some fruit to the yogurt.
Yeah, that's what I'd recommend, is just add some frozen fruit that maybe, thaws, and then it's a little more juicier, or fresh fruit. Yeah, so think of fruit as the sweetener versus the sugar, the honey, or the maple syrup.
Okay. Cool, thank you.
Good question, though. Okay, now, when we go through serving size, this is when a lot of people get their knickers in a knot because we in North America have been programmed to eat so much, so supersized. But fish, think of the palm of your hand. Now, I'm not running around with the scale and weighing. I'm just kind of eyeballing. It's about the size of the palm of your hand. Salmon, tuna, a thick slice is like the half. So if you think of half of your hand, that's not a lot. So it's a small quantity. This is why it's really important to savor your food, chew it, really focus on the food you're eating. Beef and pork, 2 ounces. Again, half the palm is 1 serving. So if you have a whole palm, that's 2 servings. Chicken, a half a palm. So if you have a chicken breast, think of half the chicken breast. Milk, 1.5 cups of skim milk is a serving. The low-fat, no-fat yogurt, 3/4 cup. Low-fat cottage cheese, 1/2 cup. Nuts, 6 to 10. So the quantity is quite small. That's why eating on a smaller plate helps, because if you have this big dinner plate and you put a little bit of food, you look like, well, where's the food? But if you have a small plate, it fills up the plate. So it's an illusion. And then eat slow. I find if I'm too hungry, I eat way too much. Like Linda, if I skip a snack or a meal, my blood sugar drops. I just go into starve. Like, it's like, I got to eat. I don't care what I eat. I have to eat because I'm going to faint, And then we often eat too much. By the time it hits the brain that we're full, it's 20 minutes later and we've stuffed ourselves. At least I have. And so it's really important to eat those 5 small meals, never get too hungry, and so that we can eat slower and really enjoy our food and chew, 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 chew. So it's like drink your solids and chew your liquids. What does that mean? We want to chew, chew, chew so that our digestion starts in our mouth, so that the food that we're chewing is almost liquid formed, like it's really small pieces. And when we drink our shakes, we want to swish them around and mix the saliva with the shake. So really enjoy that shake versus just gulping it down. And if we do that, if we eat slower, we will eat less, because in 20 minutes, it's like your brain will say, you're full. Does that make sense? Okay. So again, half a palm, just go by that. Fruits the size of your fist, 1 serving. A cup of fruit would be a serving. Okay, my favorite shake, and I think, Adeline, you've done this one. 2 scoops of My Smart Shake. So it'll be 2 scoops of this, water, teaspoon of cocoa. And cocoa has a lot of antioxidants in it. A half a teaspoon of peanut butter extract, if you could find it. I buy mine from Watkins because I really love peanut butter, or that's optional. And a tablespoon of natural peanut butter. And you blend that up with some ice, and it's like a peanut butter cup. It's that chocolate with peanut butter, and I'm going to be around tomorrow at home. I'm going to make this one as an example because I love it so much. Adeline, do you make this one?
I usually get the chocolate Nutrimeal shake, and then I'll add the peanut butter to that, or coffee, and then you have a cafe mocha. So I alternate between the Nutri-Free and the chocolate Nutrimeals, and then just
okay. Now,
and whatever fruit I happen to have, I'll add to the Nutri-Free because it's neutral. And then so I added some Saskatoon berries to, or a type of berry that tastes very much like chokecherries, actually, to the Nutri-Free. It was delicious.
Saskatoons have a lot of fiber in it.
Delicious.
Yes. Yeah. Good. Linda, do you have a favorite shake that you like to share?
You know what? I just like adding fruit to my shakes, and I don't always. I usually have the Nutrimeal, and I don't usually add anything to it. Sometimes I actually, like you, Adeline, I add cinnamon to a lot of things now. So a little bit of cinnamon into the shake, and even the yogurt and my fruit, I'll add that as well.
And cinnamon is fantastic to add because cinnamon will lower the glycemic index. It will affect the digestion, and you will digest it slower with cinnamon. So that's a great thing to add.
What about ginger? That's the other thing I was thinking, because I like sharp tastes.
Raw ginger is fantastic. You could have ginger tea. If you make ginger tea, that's very anti-inflammatory. Again, reducing the inflammation in the body.
Thank you.
Yeah, so ginger is fantastic. Any fresh herbs are fantastic to use in your salads. Like right now I have my fresh herb pots, fresh basil, thyme, tarragon. Any of the herbs are very, very healthy for you as well. So remember, this is a Get Health program, so we want health. Adding in your shakes spinach. Spinach is super great to add, getting those greens. So we're going to move on to the exercise. So Linda, I think that's fantastic. You are following an exercise program, and I know you're in good hands, and you're increasing your steps, and you're seeing the results. So that's fantastic. It's really important to get those 10,000 steps, rain or shine. And 40 below or not, it's important to get those steps. And getting the 30 to 45 minute of aerobic exercise. I personally have struggled a little bit with my weight this year because of a fractured toe. I wasn't able to walk, it hurt, and it's taken months to heal. But now I can walk without pain, and I'm increasing my walk. So it's not like a kind of a limp or a stroll. I'm actually booting it there, keeping up with the dog, and getting a sweat and breathing hard. And when my Fitbit, then I can see that I'm doing my cardiovascular time. And my goal is to get 45 minutes of cardiovascular activity. So let's say if I'm painting, I've been working so much at this flip home that I haven't been going to the gym, and the gyms were closed. And so my whole routine has been out of whack. But still, I always make sure I get the 45 minutes of aerobic exercise. So if I'm painting, I'm going to paint faster. I'm going to walk faster. I'm going to keep that exercise going in just my day-to-day activity. If I'm going up and down the stairs, I'm going to run, versus just kind of plodding on. I want to get that heart going. And weight-resistant exercising. So Linda, your program, is there weights or bands, or what type of strength training are you doing?
I've only started, so at this point it's only body weight, but I do have sets of weights that if something's a little bit, if I require a little bit more resistance, I've got like the barbells. And I think I'm going to invest in some bands as well.
Yeah, I was going to show you some bands today. So would the two of you want to do a quick workout right now?
I would like a once through instead of repeat them all in 3 sets or whatever. I just want to do 1 set.
We're going to do 1 set then, 6 exercises, 6 minutes, but we'll do it very quick. So it's going to be fast paced. So if you want to get up, and I'll just explain one as we go. Hopefully you can see. So, and again, this is just to get you moving. Now, I have a rotator cuff problem. And I used to do guys push-ups from my toes, and I used to do 45 of them without any problem. Now I have to be careful because my shoulders. So I'm just going to show you. You can do it from your toes, your knees, or let's just do it from the wall. So if you could see me, I'm just going to lean against the wall and do a push-up. So you could lean as heavy into it or as light. It's very easy. Depending on, line, that's right. And then just put your hands out a little bit further and just do a push-up. So let's do 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So 20. Good job. And you can make that as challenging as you want. But that's my physiotherapist said, just do it from the wall until the shoulder has recovered. So just, be cognizant of that. Okay, the next one is arm to knee on hands and knees. So instead of hands and knees, we're going to do this standing. And what this is going to work the core. And what we're going to take this arm and we're going to crunch and bring up our knee. So it's like this. And so it's a little bit of balancing, and we're going to focus on when you bring the knee and the arm to elbow together, really focus on crunching the mid. Okay, so we're going to do 20 of those. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Last one. Good job. Probably feel it a little bit in the hip flexors as well. Okay, walk up, walk down. Remember we went to school, we did burpees? Well, this is the easier version of burpees. So we're going to start, you can see me, we're going to start here, go down, and then walk out, and then walk back up. So it's the easier version of burpees, okay? So we're going to do just, we're going to do 5 of those, okay? So let's get to a good place. So arms up, come down, walk out.
I'm going to do that one.
Hold yourself in a plank. If you find that too hard, you can just go up, down, and then up. Just so that you bend the knees and you come up and down. So that's another version of it. Or you can go all the way out in a plank and then come back. All right? So again, just modify these as what makes sense. Bicep curls. You can use dumbbells, 3 pounds, 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 20 pounds, or you can use an elastic. And you can put this underneath your feet, or this is what I have as well. And you're gonna step on this, you know, and then you're gonna curl. You can see that. Or you can have, like Sandy said last week, she had just soup cans or water bottles. So I'm just going to use the my elastic band. So these don't cost a lot. And let's just do 15. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Good job. And you should feel it. Now, when I did it, you notice I had my elbows very close to my body, and it kept it tight. So the focus is really on that bicep. Tricep kickbacks. Again, you can use, now when you do these, make sure your elbows are in tight. You're leaning over. You're not moving.
Can you get where are you? I'll be finished in about 10 minutes.
So we're going to do a tricep kickback like this. And you want to make sure that you keep the elbows close and you're not moving the shoulders. It's just all in the triceps. Or you can use the band elastics and do the same thing. It's a little different feeling. Again, the same thing, you're bent over, elbows are close in, and you're feeling it in the tricep. So you should feel it in here, all right? And the last one, so this is kind of general, not focused on any particular, like shoulders, it's just over upper body. We could do a row. So you could do a row, again, we could go like this with the bands, or you could take some weights and do this. So let's just do 10. And if you see my arms, it's important to sort of keep the shoulders. Now, because I have a shoulder injury, it's harder for me to keep them balanced. But so it's good to do this in a mirror. Adeline, you're doing it perfect. And you want to do about 10 to 15. And that's going to be a general upper body workout. And last week, Sandy said, you know, having a nice shoulders and arms is very sexy. Clothes fit better and you look more toned. One more and then we are done. Great. So this is just to help us get moving. And like Linda said, she has hired someone to, Sandy is available to set up programs as well. Linda has found another friend who's also a fitness trainer. So the key thing is to get the body moving. So how is that?
Good.
Good, right on. Okay, I just wanted to talk to you again about the Biomega quickly. So the whole focus today was on healthy fats. And the Biomega is USANA's healthy fat option. It's a fish oil, has concentration of 2 omega-3s, EPA and DHA, and vitamin D, and lemon oil. So there's no after fishy taste, no burping, no ugh. So you don't taste the fish at all because of the lemon oil. It's contaminant free. USANA puts it through a molecular distillation process and removes all contaminants. So it's contaminant free. The easiest way to get your omega-3s and supports your cardiovascular, cognitive, and brain health. So That's why when the program, I recommend the Cell Essentials, the Biomega. Those are the two that are absolutely critical for long-term health, omega-3s. Adeline, you've been using the omega-3s for years, right?
Yep, ever
Biomega?
since I got introduced to USANA, and you know what, I am a faithful customer for life, because the supplements have really made a huge, huge change in my life. So, well,
Great.
I've got these and a few others that.
Yeah, and I find a lot of people who are suffering from SAD or SID or whatever it is in wintertime, they get a little depressed. They're often short of omega-3s and vitamin D, and this has both. It has the vitamin D and the omega-3s. Okay, so what's our homework this week? Focusing on drinking, and my goal this week, to tell you the truth, I'm coming back on coffee. That's my, I don't know, my Achilles heel. So I'm focusing on more lemon water with the apple cider vinegar and the cayenne. And I'm just really focused on drink lots of water. It's so hot out. Drink 8 to 10 glasses of water. Please monitor how much and make sure you get enough water. Reduce your coffee intake, your tea intake. No diet drinks. Drink your 2 shakes a day. If you want to continue to lose weight, drink 2 shakes a day. You can have our USANA bar. We haven't talked about the bar, but there is a protein bar that's like a meal replacement or a healthy snack that helps with the digestion. It has pro and prebiotics in it. Have your healthy snack and your healthy low glycemic meal. So again, eat 5 times a day, every few hours. Take your essentials and Biomega, go for 10,000 steps. Do your 6-minute workout every day, upper and lower body or Sandy's, but just do a 6-minute to 10-minute workout, get the body moving. Journal, meditate, and just enjoy life. It's summer. Let's just get out there and just listen to the birds, and it's just so beautiful. And I'm just going to, where is this? Stop. So thanks for being on the call, everyone, and enjoying the replay line.